The Miami Dolphins are keeping their playoff hopes alive, and they have another chance to do that again as they host the New England Patriots here in Week 12. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. I'm going to break down this Week 12 matchup between the Patriots and Dolphins. But before I get into that, Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We can't believe that that's even possible to say. So thank you to everybody that has joined the channel throughout this entire 2024 season. And so if you haven't already, help us reach our goal by hitting that subscribe button, leaving a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. So, Ryan, Tua is back with Miami, and Miami looks like the Miami team that we thought, coming off a dominant win over the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll say lowly Raiders, I will say, but still put up 34 points. That's like the Dolphins team that we are used to seeing as well. Great performance by Tua today, 28 for 36, 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. Going up against your Patriots team, which is they're playing significantly better. I will say it was a pretty low bar to beat as well, probably lower than beating the Raiders, I will say. But Drake Maye looks like it's a lot. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's going to be your guys' franchise QB in the future. I would say these two teams have played already this season. I don't even have the stats up for that game because it was two totally different teams.
Oh yeah,
essentially, so it's kind of even hard to get a feel for how who's going to come into this or to take anything away from that prior game. What are some of the key X factors, especially to you being the Patriots fan, that you want to see out of your Patriots to pull off the road victory in Week 12?
Well, I want to see the Patriots win the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball with not having to blitz a ton, because I think you look at what Miami thrives on, and that's timing. So I would love to see some coverage rotations on the back end that could throw off the timing of that offense. They did a good job, I think, in that first matchup of making Tyler Huntley have to get off his first and second read. That is the big thing, though, is it was Tyler Huntley. And so with Tua, I think our corners proved in the first matchup that they can stick with these receivers. And so I think making Tua get off his first and second read, giving your defensive line some time to get there is going to be really important in this matchup, because I think that has been the one weakness that Tua, I think, has shown, is that if you can get after him, he will get quick. That throws off the timing. And I say they need to win sending limited numbers, because I think we saw today against the Rams, just you can't send 0 blitzes, especially in that effing scenario.
It's a horrible scenario.
Yeah. I don't get me started on the defensive coaching right now for New England, but just winning with limited numbers, making Tua go to his first, second read, and do what you can to throw off the timing of that offense. Also, I saw there was a couple big plays that the Dolphins had that were just totally blown coverages. I think Jonnu Smith had a long touchdown that was nobody covered him. Mm-hmm. And so just preventing those kind of mistakes. And then offensively, this is a pretty good pass rush down there in Miami. And so I think this offensive line is going to have to be on their game. And I think it's going to be a tough matchup, just right off the bat for New England. And keeping Drake Maye upright, I think, is going to be the most important thing for this offense, because he has shown already that he can go and create and be the playmaker that this offense needs. And so I think Hunter Henry, Brock Bowers had a big game against them. I think tight ends do pretty well against Miami. So I think Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper are going to need to play a big role. And then on Miami side of the ball, get after Drake Maye. He is a rookie quarterback, I think, making his 7th start at this point. And so I just definitely, he has definitely shown that he will make mistakes. And again, he's a rookie quarterback. So get after him. This offensive line for New England is very weak. And running the ball. They didn't really run the ball all that well in the first game until that final drive. But with that being said, when they finally were all right, well, when push comes to shove, we're going to run it, they were able to. So I think there's going to be some really interesting matchups in this one. They do, again, have some tape. I'm not sure how relevant it is on each other from the first one, but we'll just have to see. So,
yeah, and I agree with a lot of what you said, especially because obviously as well, Tua being back into this Miami offense, as we've seen even today, the explosiveness. I think the emergence of Jonnu Smith is actually kind of scary to think about with this offense here, just because then that's another kind of that third weapon, that third receiving weapon that I think the team has kind of struggled to get as well. So if you have this guy that can line up in line with that's a tight end, it could be very interesting. But to me, though, I think the biggest X factor overall is how does the Patriots offensive line deal with the defensive front of Miami? I will say, as a Falcons fan, we had Calais Campbell for the one season last year, and he was our entire defensive line. I could say, as a Falcons fan, we really miss him on our defensive line with how atrocious our defensive line has been. But the dude is just an absolute beast, and so it's like how does this defensive line, how does this offensive line game plan around him? How does Drake Maye be aware? And he is a rookie, he's like going up against like a future Hall of Famer like that in Calais Campbell. Just be prepared to constantly be aware of where Campbell is at. Make sure that he doesn't get himself hurt, on any blindside hits. And then on top of that, then too, is how are they going to be effective in the passing game as well? You could dive deeper into this, but I think there's a lot of great opportunities for this team as well. But there's so many drops, so many missed opportunities, it feels like. And this Dolphins defense is top 10 overall in a lot of categories. 10th overall in total yards allowed, 11th in passing yards allowed, 9th in rushing yards allowed. So it's going to be tough for this Patriots offense to move the ball down the field pretty consistently. And then on the flip side, too, then if they don't want this to turn into a big shootout against this high-flying Miami team.
Yeah, and that to me, I think it's going to be really important, especially like winning first down, getting the Dolphins in third and long scenarios where you can't actually let your pass rushers really get after Tua. I think is going to be really important. But then also like just some stupid things that like the Patriots did against the Rams today. They didn't tackle well. Like again, blown coverages, defensive alignments. I think they like outsmarted themselves on a lot of these plays. But like, for example, Keon White being over a slot receiver. It makes no sense. Nobody thinks he's actually covering anybody. So for me, the Patriots need to come in, they need to play good fundamental football. And I think that's what gives them the best chance to win. Let's quickly get into predictions here. I'm going with Miami. Even as a Patriots fan, I don't think that there's a lot of ways New England can go down there and win. I definitely think that like it's a possibility, but for me, I think we're going to have to capitalize on a few Miami mistakes, and Drake Maye is going to have another really, really good performance to keep this offense afloat.
So I'm also going to go with Miami as well. I think it's going to be a much more exciting game than the last time these two teams played.
That's not saying much.
That's the lowest of all the bars that I've said today that like you had to beat that were low. That was the lowest of bars, I think, when it comes to overall excitement level. And so I just think Miami is one, ironically well rested, especially too at this point in the season, just with some of the injuries that they've been having and the way that they've been having to play. But then on top of that too, I just think that they're just better skilled overall. I think we watched the Patriots game together, and you're in a fun spot where you can see like there's positives, there's growth there compared to when Jacoby Brissett was there, where it just looked very anemic and like, what are we doing? Yeah. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those moments from Drake Maye in this game. But just at the end of the day, a lot of still self-inflicted wounds from a pretty young team, pretty young offense. And that's just going to be the big difference here. Yeah. Especially, too, when you go look at this Miami team, a lot of veterans that are on this team. They brought in a lot of pieces to try and make this championship run because they know they're in this very specific time set. And I just think matchup-wise, I think the Dolphins just match up really well against you. So I'm going to go with Miami in this one.
Yeah, it's love-hate relationship with having a rookie quarterback because as much as I love to see the growth and development, it still hurts when he throws that game-losing interception there at the end against the Rams and stuff. Yeah, and so like it is fun to see the growth. The biggest thing now, I think, for the Patriots, not looking into the 2025 offseason just yet because you still have six or seven more games to play, but kind of looking forward to building around Drake Maye a little bit more and kind of revamping this roster. So let's go ahead on that note. Let's wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It's the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the New England Patriots? Will it be the Miami Dolphins? And then we'll see you guys next time.